So after that, what we found, when he got the money exchange, he again tried to go to the third level at the Grand Central Station. He tried many times, but he could not reach there. He could not find that place. And his wife was very much worried about this. And he told him not to try again and again to go to the third level. And after that, he said, I stopped this. And then he started spending his time looking at his stem collections. And there he saw something again very surprising. What he saw there says, when we both were looking at the weekend, his wife and the author both were looking at the weekend on the stem collections, he came to know that there was an envelope where first day cover envelope was there, in which some stamps were lying there. And he noticed one thing more during those days, that his friend Sam Wiener, who was the psychiatrist, he had also disappeared. And nobody knew about him, where he was now. But he realized, he suspected, he had doubt in his mind that Sam was a city boy, and he used to tell him about Galesburg. The author used to tell him about this city, Galesburg, where he used to go to school in his childhood period. And he always said he liked the sound of the place, कि उसको वो जगह अच्छी लगती थी हमेशा. सैम जो था उसको अपनी पसंद बताता कि जब आप गेल्सबर्ग के बारे में बताते हो तो आई फील वेरी गुड, कि मुझे अच्छी लग रही है वो जगह. एंड दैट्स वेयर ही इज ऑल राइट इन 1894. कि अपनी स्टैम्प कलेक्शन देखने से उसको पता चला कि सैम जो था, ही हैड रीच टू द गेल्सबर्ग in 1894. How he came to know? He says, because one night, fussing with my stamp collection, coming to the last passage of page 5, because one night, fussing with my stamp collection, I found, well, do you know what a first day cover is? And when he was just searching his stamp collection, he came to know what is first day cover. When a new stamp is issued, stamp collectors buy some and use them to mail envelopes to themselves on the very first day of sale, and the postmark proves the date. The envelope is called a first day cover. They are never opened. You just put blank paper in the envelope. We have already discussed all this, that what is a first day cover. When a new stamp is issued and the stamp collectors buy some of the stamps on the very first day and use them to mail envelopes to themselves. अपने आप को ही अपने address के ऊपर on the very first day of the sale of that stamp, they used to mail the envelope by keeping those stamps in the envelope and getting the postmark which proves about the date, कि किस date को वो envelope जो था वो भेजा गया था, so that they could have a record of the issuing date of that very stamp. And the envelope is called a first day cover. And that envelope, कि वो लिफाफा जिसके अंदर वो stamps डालकर भेजते थे, that is known as a first day cover. And they are never opened because you just put blank paper in the envelope. खोले नहीं जाते थे because it is not having any letter. जो भी अपने आप को मेल करता था वो एक simple blank paper उसके अंदर डाल देता था just to show that there was a letter. Nothing was written, so they never opened it. They knew this thing, that's why it was not opened. So what he found in his stamp collection that night, among my oldest first day covers, I found one that should not have been there. तो उसने क्या किया, फर्स्ट डे कवर्स में बहुत पुराने उसके पास और भी कुछ पड़े थे ऐसे एनवेल्प्स. ही फाउंड दैट देयर वाज वन लाइक दैट that should not have been there, जो उसको लगा कि वहां नहीं होना चाहिए था, but there it was there because someone had mailed it to my grandfather at his home in Galesburg. वो क्या देखता है कि on that first day cover, on that envelope, it has been posted, it had been mailed to his grandfather at his home address in Galesburg. Galesburg के address के ऊपर grandfather के नाम से वो envelope था. That was what the address on the envelope said. envelope के ऊपर address था grandfather का, Galesburg का. And it had been there since July 18, 1894. क्या देखा उसने postmark से, क्या उसको proof मिला that it was there in his stamp collection since July 18, 1894. Please note down this date. These can be covered in the short MCQs questions. So the postmark showed that, yet I did not remember it at all. कि उस postmark से उसको date और year पता चल रहा था. Otherwise, he did not remember anything. He had seen many times the stamp collection, but he never noticed it. The stamp was a 6-cent dull brown with the picture of President Garfield. जब उसने ध्यान से देखा तो it was a 6 cent स्टैम्प. स्टैम्प के ऊपर अमाउंट लिखा होता है ना, कितने अमाउंट की या कितने रेट की वो स्टैम्प है. जब आप एनवेल्प के ऊपर पेस्ट करते हो तो अमाउंट इज ऑल्सो रिटर्न. सो ही सॉ दैट इट वॉज ऑफ 6 cent एंड वॉज ऑफ डल ब्राउन कलर विद अ पिक्चर ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट गारफील्ड. कि उस टाइम के प्रेसिडेंट जो थे गारफील्ड, उनकी पिक्चर थी उसके ऊपर. नेचुरली व्हेन द एनवेल्प केम टू ग्रैंड डैड in the mail, it went right into his collection and stayed there till I took it out and opened it. And it was quite natural that the envelope came to granddad in the mail and it went right into his collection and stayed there. It was there since July 18, 1894. No one had opened it because his grandfather might have thought that it was mailed by himself to him. अपने आप को खुद उन्होंने मेल करी हो. सो एज यूजुअल दे डिड नॉट ओपन इट एंड इट वाज ओपनड बाय चार्ले नाउ. वो इसको देखता है और इसको खोलता है कि ग्रैंडफादर के नाम पर थी और उसके ऊपर स्टैम्प, पोस्ट मार्क का स्टैम्प था, डेट थी, जिससे कि उसको पता चल रहा था कि वो पुरानी कलेक्शन थी, पुरानी जुलाई 1894 की कलेक्शन थी. और नो वन हैड ओपनड इट. व्हेन ही ओपनड इट, व्हाट ही सॉ, द पेपर इनसाइड वाज नॉट ब्लैंक. यूजुअली उसमें जो ब्लैंक पेपर डाला जाता था क्योंकि वो अपने आप को पोस्ट करते थे, but here what he noticed that it was mailed on the name of his grandfather in to the Galesburg address. And when he opened it, there was paper inside which was not black. It read what was written on the paper. It was in the form of a letter. See, in the box we are given the letter: 941 Villiard Street, Galesburg, Illinois, July 18, 1994. Charlie. It was addressed to Charlie. I got to wishing that you were right. Then I got to believing you were right. पहले कहता मैं विश करता हूँ कि आप अच्छे हो, फिर मैं विश्वास करता हूँ कि आप अच्छे ही होंगे. And Charlie, it is true. I found the third level. See the sign of exclamation. What is written in that? Ki Charlie, you were right when you were saying about the third level, and I found it. I have been here 2 weeks. The right now, down the street at the delis, someone is playing a piano, and they are all out on the front porch singing, seeing Nelly home, and I am invited over for lemonade. Come on back, Charlie and Lusa. Keep looking till you find the third level. It is worth it. Believe it. And the note is signed Sam. Sam कौन था? उसका psychiatrist friend who was telling him that he was talking about the third level because he wants to escape from the reality. He is full of tension and stress of this real world and he wants to escape from that reality. That's why he was having this habit of stamp collection also. He did not agree with this, that there was a third level, and told that it was only his daydreaming. But now this letter was from Sam, and first he wished him for his well-being, and then he told that what he was telling about the third level, that was true because he had found that third level and he had been there in the city of Galesburg for 2 weeks. And right now he was there, and then he told how the people were living as it was told by Charlie to him, that people were leading their very happy and peaceful life. They were living very happily. They enjoy each other's company in the evening. So he also tells, he says there in the down in the street at the delis, this is the name of the street given, someone is playing a piano. That shows that people are enjoying their life and they are all out on the front porch singing, seeing Nelly home, that they all are singing also. All people have gathered there and in the outside in the porch and they are singing. And I am invited over for lemonade. He says, I have also been invited into that meeting. Come on back, Charlie and Lusa. And he invited both of them, Charlie and his wife Lusa, to come to Galesburg. And he said, keep looking till you find the third level. And he motivated him that he should keep on looking, trying for the third level, because according to him, it exists and it is worth it, believe me. And he told that it is worth seeing. It's very good place. It's very wonderful place, as Charlie has told him. He says, you must believe me and try to find the third level, purchase the tickets, both of you, and come to the city of Galesburg. And this note was written by Sam. It was signed as Sam, who was his psychiatrist friend. And according to this letter, what we come to know that his friend Sam had also reached to Galesburg in 1894. That means he was also willing to go to that place, as it was told in the very beginning, because he liked that place, as it was explained by Charlie. And from this letter, we come to know that he also reached to that place of 1894. At the stamp and coin store I go to, I found out that Sam bought $800 worth of old style currency. Then he again visited that place where they used to go to buy the tickets, where he got the money exchanged. He went to that counter, and what he noticed, and at the stamp and coin store I go to, usually he used to go to the coin store where he used to have exchange of currency, and the stamp collection for the stamp purchasing he went. He found that Sam bought $800 worth of old style currency. तो वहां से उसको क्या पता चला कि सैम ने ओल्ड स्टाइल करेंसी के $800 वहां से खरीदे थे. He got exchanged the money with the old currency. That ought to set him up in a nice little hay, feed and grain business. तो क्या फील करता है वो कि जितना पैसा उसने लिया, दैट मीन्स $800 he got exchanged with the old currency notes. He thought that it was a good money, and he could set up a nice little hay, feed and grain business. कि वहां जाकर वो हे और ग्रेन का बिजनेस, अनाज का और पशुओं के लिए जो हे चारा होता है, फीड होती है, वो उस चीज के लिए एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर सकता है वहां पर. He always said that's what he really wished he could do, because he was willing to do all these type of things or to do some business. तो उसके माइंड में क्या आता है कि वहां पर चीजें जो है वो कम रेट में होंगी, चीप होंगी, एज इट वाज टोल्ड अबाउट द एग्स एग्जांपल वाज गिवन. So he thought that he had got $800 exchanged with the old style currency, and it was enough money to settle a business there of hay and grain in that area of Galesburg. He always said that's what he really wished he could do, and he certainly can't go back to his old business. And he thought that he would not be able to go back to his old business. What is his old business? That is working as a psychiatrist. He was working for the psychological diseases of the people, but now he felt that he would start his business there, and it was a good money to start that. Not in Galesburg, Illinois in 1894. In Galesburg, he would not be working as a psychiatrist in the time of 1894. His old business. Why? Sam was my psychiatrist. He says he would not go to his old business. He was only my psychiatrist. That means he only advises me all that what was told in the very beginning, that he was trying to escape from the real world. So he felt that he would not go back to his work of psychiatrist. He will start his new business there of hay and feed and grain, etc. So in this way, what we find that first our main character Charlie was lost in his past imagination, and he was thinking about the time of 1894, about his childhood period when he used to go to school in that area, and he told about that city to Sam, his psychiatrist friend, and he liked that place, and he also had that imagination to visit that place and try to do. And from the letter that is given to us at the end, we come to know that he also had the same nature of imagination. He also lost in his imagination and started remembering about that place which was told by Charlie, and reached there in Galesburg in 1894, and invited Charlie and his wife also to come to that place. So in this way, we have seen how the present and the past is mixed up in this. Now coming to the questions, please raise your hands for the first question. Yes, Ketan Sethi. Yes, beta. Unmute yourself.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, as we have seen, Charlie said that his friend has been lost for 2 weeks. Ma'am, but we have seen also that this third level was a fantasy, not a reality. Then
Yes,
where is his friend now?
it is again his imagination. We can say it is again his imagination. Nothing is mentioned at the end of the chapter that whether he had reached in reality that place or not. It was only through that first day cover envelope which he opened, and he found that there was a first day cover in the stamp collections, and he found a letter there. It may be his imagination again. He has again lost into his fantasy world. We can't say that in reality his friend might have gone. It may be again the fantasy or the imagination of Charlie only. It's only the imagination or the fantasy world of a person is shown. That how once a person got some idea in the mind, and again the same idea haunts him. बार बार उसके मन में वही ख्याल आते हैं, और अब भी जब वो स्टैम्प कलेक्शन खोल रहा है तो उसको एक फर्स्ट डे कवर अपने, मे बी इट might be again his imagination only, may not be reality. Nothing is mentioned in the chapter. Okay, clear? Yes, Pranav. Yes, Pranav, beta
Yes,
bolo.
ma'am. May I answer?
Yes,
May
yes,
I answer question?
yes, read the first
Okay,
question.
ma'am. Do you think that third level was medium of escape for Charlie, and why?
Hmm.
Yes, I think that third level was the medium of escape for Charlie, be, be, because as mentioned in starting of chapter that he came back from his work, as he worked for extra hours, and he was tired of his daily life. So I think he imagined that third level, and moreover, uh, he had told his psychiatric friend that uh,
Yes.
that was his a good place.
Hmm.
So I think he remembers those things when he gets in stress.
Yes, it was only his imagination. When he got stressed, he started thinking about his past. He might be having his good past, might be having a link with this place of Galesburg, and he reached there in the time period of 1894 in his past, and started remembering. And according to him, as he has given a detailed description of the third level, that means it might be his imagination, so deeply his imagination was working, that he explained everything about the third level also in the story. Clear? Yes. Next one, Aditi Kwatra. Yes, beta. Yes, beta, please unmute. Hmm.
Uh, what do you infer from Sam's letter to Charlie?
Hmm.
In the letter, Sam had informed Charlie that he found the third level. He had also told Charlie and his wife to keep looking for the third level.
Hmm.
Clearly, the letter was a product of Charlie's imagination. Sam
Yes.
invited the narrator to the third level. It was worth it. He added that it was true that there existed the third level and he had found it.
Yes, Sam's letters to Charlie adds to the mystery about the third level again. It's found in one of the oldest envelopes which Charlie has in his possession, and he has never seen the envelope before. इतनी देर से अगर स्टैम्प कलेक्शन उसके पास थी तो it was not seen. It's also very surprising. The envelope was mailed by someone to his grandfather at his home in Galesburg, and it was mailed in 1894. The postmark showed the date of July 18, 1894, and Charlie is surprised to find in this envelope a note written by his psychiatrist friend Sam, addressed to him. And Sam has been missing for some days, and nobody knows where he is. So in the note, Sam says that Charlie is right about the third level. He says that he himself has found the third level and has been in Galesburg of 1894, where people live a calm and quiet life. The same things what Charlie has told to Sam that were mentioned in that letter. He asked Charlie and his wife Lucia to come there. So it is clear from Sam's letter to Charlie that he too has fallen a prey to Charlie's fantasies, कि जो चार्ली इमेजिन कर रहा था, जो उसकी फैंटेसी थी, शायद सैम भी उसी फैंटेसी का शिकार हो गया था अबाउट द थर्ड लेवल and the peaceful life of Galesburg in 1894. And it is also possible that the letter itself is a fantasy of Charlie himself. हो सकता है कि चार्ली का अपना imagination ही वो letter के बारे में. It's very difficult to imagine and say that Sam has really gone back to Galesburg of 1894 from a non-existent third level in the present time. The present time में third level is not present existing there, and how he had reached. It might be the fantasy of Charlie again. Clear? So these questions what are given at the back can be dealt as short questions also and can be as long questions also, and accordingly you have to explain. If it comes in the form of a long question, then you have to add the explanation about that. Yes, Nishant Thakur. Coming to the next question.
The modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and stress. What are the ways in which we attempt to overcome them?
Yes.
Nowadays, every person suffers from insecurities, apprehensions, worries, and tensions. But there are many ways to get rid of these and lead a comfortable and relaxing life in today's world. Meditation and yoga becomes a good alternative to cope up with this problem. Some people also indulge themselves in social service so that
Yes.
their mind could think less of these things and more positive thinking would be there.
Yes, very good.
Diary entry is another good method as it creates positivity, leading to a happy and stress-free life.
Yes, very good. Diary entry, or you can write your poems, stories, plays. You can find emotional refuge in the creative and imaginary writing. If you try, you can write something, or you can go for music, singing if you have taste, or for listening music. In this way you can come out of your stress and get security or get comfort, especially nowadays when we all are at home. We are stressed, what would happen, and uh, what would be the time in the future, whether we would be able to have a normal life or not. So many problems and fears are in our mind, stress are there. So during these times we should find out some way out, thinking positively, not going negatively. If you think negatively, we cannot come out of that. So first we have to change our attitude and overcome our negative thoughts and adopt some method to pass our time and to get out of these worries and tensions. Okay, coming to the next question. Now I have Gurveer Kaur. Yes, beta. Yes, beta. Unmute yourself.
Do you see an intersection of time and space in this story? Yes, we see an intersection of time and space in this story, as the writer first tells us about the reality and the present situation, but then he tells about the third level, which actually didn't exist. It was just his temporary imagination, and he was so into his imagination that he thought it to be a reality. And then he also explains us that how he told his friends about the third level, but no one believed him. And the time he went into was June 11, 1894, at the third level.
Yes.
And when he escaped from there, he came to the present situation.
Yes, he explained us about that time. उस टाइम के बारे में जो सिचुएशन उसको नज़र आती थी, जैसे चीज़ें डेवलप नहीं थी, या लाइट्स के बारे में, ही टेल्स अस दैट गिव्स अस टू बिलीव अबाउट द थिंग, कि उन चीज़ों को सुन के हमें ये विश्वास हो जाता है कि ये पुरानी चीज़ें बता रहा है हमें ना. देयर इज़ नो इलेक्ट्रिक लाइट्स, द डिम एंड द फ्लिकरिंग लाइट्स कम फ्रॉम ओपन फ्लेम gas lights, people are in the old fashioned clothes, the ticket clerk refuses to accept the modern currency, saying that it's not money. So Charlie, who comes back to the present, again tries to reach the third level, but in vain. Again and again he tries. So we have to give a little bit explanation of the time which he has explained of 1894 to tell that there is a direct intersection of time and space that is given in the story. Okay, clear? Next, we are left with only 1 minute. I'm finishing.